Police canines are on the front lines, helping make our communities safer. It is truly noble work that they do for us. And this next AKC Hero Spotlight is brought to you by Eukanuba. And it's the story of Q, who's a friendly Labrador retriever that serves a dual purpose for the Greenville, South Carolina Sheriff's Department. You see, she's an electronic detection dog that's actually deployed to search for incriminating devices that are used by alleged sex offenders, which, as you might imagine, is really tough work, not only for Q, but for everybody around her. And so she also offers an emotional outlet for both victims and officers, all while spreading smiles around the sheriff's office.
We're coming in the door and everybody knows Q. She's running up and, what tails wagging and wanting pets and loves, and she just brightens everybody's day. Everybody talks about the bond that a K-9 officer has. Before having one, I didn't understand it, but to me, she's not a dog. She's my partner. I've always been a dog lover. I've had dogs my whole life. I thought at one time about the K-9 unit, but when I got into investigations, that's where I knew I needed to stay. Our unit is divided between internet crimes against children and computer forensics. I'm currently the sergeant over the unit. We get cyber tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for child sexual abuse material and do the investigations that lead us out to houses where individuals are viewing inappropriate material of children.
I call them the angels in law enforcement that people are not aware that exist. We knew that the concept of an electronic detection K9 needed to be on every search.
I had heard briefly about the K9, the electronic detection, didn't know a whole lot about it, and I started doing some research on it and looking into it a little bit more and realized it would be a really good fit with our unit.
I was connected with the ICAC unit, the captain at that time, Sergeant Rainey, and we started communicating. I'm like, have you guys heard about this dog? And it sounds like something you need, and what can we do to place one in your agency?
The money was raised to purchase Q. Tony and her staff have just done a tremendous job of recognizing the need that we didn't see.
Come on. I traveled up to Indiana where I picked up Q. She jumped out of the crate and we just hit it off. We were best buddies. She comes to work with me every day. She has free reign of the office. She walks around, talks with other investigators. She's another member of the team and of the unit.
She's a sweetheart. The whole agency loves her, but when it's time for her to work, she goes to work.
We do an initial search of the residence, then Q comes in and does a secondary search to see if anything's been overlooked or has been hidden to the point where we're not able to locate it. She's an extra set of eyes. There are media devices that she has located that was the sole piece of evidence that was needed for that case.
Q brings all that evidence and literally lays it at the feet of a judge or a jury. What she does is tremendous, and it goes far beyond just being a K-9.
She knows she has a job to do, and when she gets out of the car and it's time to go to work, she's ready to work. But when it's time to see the softer side and actually be comforting, she does that just as well as she finds electronics.
The children are not as apprehensive. They become more open. So that helps us and the investigators when they have to then ask that child a question, because it just simply helps to have that comfort there. It's like Linus with his comfort blanket.
Q is amazing because she is loving, therapeutic to not only children, but to all the investigators who deal with secondary trauma. It's a win-win with this dog because, it's just powerful. Just totally powerful.
She can read people. She understands if you're having a bad day. She'll come and lay her head on your lap, or she'll nudge you, kind of nudge you on the arm or on the leg, kind of saying, hey, it's time to take a break.
And you know, after you've read so many horrible stories, it's a release. Even for the employees, the ones at the office, to just be able to love on her and to just have that few minutes to say, okay, I'm gonna break away from these cases and I'm gonna love on Q just some.
She's just something special, and she provides something that we can't. As humans, we just can't do it. But that K9, she's got it figured out.
I've heard many stories from the ICAC and the Children's Crime Unit where Q would just naturally come up there and just make them feel better at a time they're upset, which is neat. And so nobody's calling Q in to do it. She just naturally does it. So that's wonderful.
Q has set the standard for other agencies in this state that now have electronic detection dogs. And had it not been for the community coming together and supporting this, it just wouldn't be possible.
She's my best friend. And actually getting to come to work with your best friend every day is not a bad thing. She's kind of the best of both worlds. She's kind of got a dual purpose, and to actually see her bring a smile to people's faces that has just been involved in some traumatic issue, take their mind off of what they're dealing with and what their trouble is. Just kind of see a little glimmer of a smile and know that she has brightened their day is absolutely amazing.
There is nothing like the bond between a law enforcement officer and a K-9. In fact, it's hard for some of us on the outside to even understand just how deep that bond goes. And in the case of Q and Sergeant Rainey, their bond was made possible by a concerned citizen that had faith in the impact that a heroic dog like that can have. Just remarkable.